Stardom Situm DST for week 3. I got 3 starts and 2 fades. Let's get right into the episode. Now for my first start, I got the Chicago Bears going up against the Colts. This is going to be a game I'm going to watch closely for the Bears defense because they've been balling these last 2 weeks. They held CJ Stroud and that high-power offense to 19 points. So far, the last 2 games, they have allowed less than 20 points to offenses. Now you're looking at Anthony Richardson as a huge threat when it comes to the deep ball and getting out of the pocket, but the Bears have been doing an excellent job of making folks uncomfortable in that pocket and coming at people with a high pressure rate. Now, Anthony Richardson is completing less than 50% of his passes in this last 2 weeks. Now, you're looking at this Bears defense, man. They have a low 25% third down conversion, so they're stopping these drives short, and they're making people uncomfortable in the pocket, getting the sacks, creating the turnovers, and putting up huge fantasy points. The Bears in starting lineups for week 3. Next up, I got the Minnesota Vikings going up against the Texans. Now, you're probably wondering, like, duh, the Vikings have been red hot the last 2 weeks. Well, not many folks know that because they're rostered in less than 50% of leagues right now. So you need to stop watching this video, go get them, add them, put them in your starting lineup against this Texans offensive line who have allowed the most sacks in the last 2 weeks. 5 sacks allowed, and you've seen CJ Stroud struggling against those Bears last week, only putting up 19 points. So I'm looking at this Vikings defense where they have a low red zone TD percentage allowed, and they're also a third down defense that they are cutting these drives short. So Vikings, they have a hell of a matchup against CJ Stroud where I think they will be able to get the sacks, get the takeaways, and put up some fantasy points this week in week 3. Next up, I got the Chargers going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, this Chargers defense has been so good in the last 2 weeks, but this will be a true test for this defense going up against a mobile quarterback in Justin Fields, who will likely be the starter heading into week 3. Now, we're looking at this Chargers defense, man. They've been playing amazing football when it comes to keeping guys out of the end zone, man. They have only allowed 1 red zone drive, 0 touchdowns, only 1 red zone drive allowed in the last 2 weeks. Now, Justin Fields, he's not really a quarterback that I think is going to go out there and make no mistakes. I really think this is going to be a game where he's going to have to try to extend the plays with his legs, which sometimes leads to mistakes when it comes to Justin Fields. Now, we're looking at this Chargers defense. They've been bringing high pressure as well, making quarterbacks uncomfortable in that pocket, and I plan on them still being a top 5, if not a top 7 defense in week 3. Now to get into my week 3 DST fades, I got 2 defenses that I'm not liking this week. First up, I got the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Baltimore Ravens. They got embarrassed in Jerry's World by the Saints offense, and that was driven by the run game. Now you're looking at the Ravens offense. They are one of the most dangerous rushing attacks in the NFL, and this Cowboys defense is allowing the second highest rushing EPA in the NFL right now at 14.8, which is pretty bad because all these drives and all these rushing opportunities are leading to scoring drives, and this could be a situation where the Ravens can get hot on the ground and they end up finding themselves in the end zone. The Cowboys are allowing the most rushing touchdowns right now, and that is too much for me to feel comfortable with the Dallas Cowboys in my starting lineups for week 1. Next up, I got the Philadelphia Eagles as a fade this week going up against the red-hot Saints offense. Derek Carr is playing his best ball. Alvin Kamara resurges as not wash and getting it done on the ground, where this Eagles defense is allowing almost 160 yards on the ground per game. But the biggest issue here is on that back end, on the secondary. CJ Gardner-Johnson have allowed 2 big scoring plays in the last 2 weeks to Jaden Reed in week 1, and then last week to Darnell Mooney. You're looking at Rashid Shaheed, who is a guy that is a burner on that secondary, where he might end up getting loose a couple times if CJ's going to be playing this type of caliber defense on the back end. So I'm not liking how this Eagles defense is shaping out to be to start the season. This is not going to be a great matchup for them going up against the New Orleans Saints, who are red hot in offense, man. I don't want to be looking at a 30 burger with the Eagles defense in my starting lineups. So that wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. Please make sure you guys follow me on Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.